Hey there. Thanks for joining us for Tales of Misadventure, a podcast all about business blunders. On this podcast, Nicole Donnelly, founder of DMG Digital, talks to entrepreneurs and learns how they turn their lemons into lemonade. DMG Digital is a full-service marketing agency focused on helping manufacturers attract new buyers through digital self-serve. Nicole Donnelly is a fourth-generation entrepreneur, a girl mom, and an avid traveler. Now, let's head into a tale of misadventure with your host, Nicole Donnelly.
Welcome to Tales of Misadventure. This is Nicole Donnelly. I'm your host. I'm the founder and president of DMG Digital, and I am so delighted and honored to have on our show today Mike Franz. Mike is the owner and founder of ManufacturingPower, and this is a platform that provides price and delivery data for industrial supplies. He started ManufacturingPower with the vision to help small to mid-sized manufacturers optimize their spend management by leveraging true peer-to-peer data that spotlights cost savings opportunities. And something really exciting is they are currently in the process of developing a mobile app that they are currently demoing and beta testing right now that will revolutionize the way companies search, find, and buy industrial supplies. So I am super excited to learn more about that today, Mike, and just to talk to you. You're so much fun to chat with. I had the honor and pleasure of meeting with you on Kurt Anderson's Manufacturing E-commerce Success Show 4 months ago, and we just connected right away. It was so great. So welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, Nicole, thank you so much for having me, first of all.
Yes.
And wow, what an introduction. Thank you for that. And it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I mean, we've had some good conversations in the past, and I just look forward to it.
Yes, awesome. So I would love to hear more about your company. Tell us a little bit about what you're working on. I want to hear about ManufacturingPower. Tell me about this app. Let's hear about it. This is exciting.
Sure. So ManufacturingPower really spawned from an idea years ago about industrial supplies and how we could make organization, data analysis, and price comparison an easier task or challenge to overcome for small to mid-sized manufacturing companies. Many times it's data that's collected and it's a pain in the butt to deal with. So we wanted to help with that struggle. And that's what we've built. We built a SaaS platform that really helps to organize, analyze, and show cost savings opportunities for those types of products. So anything we save, from toilet paper to tooling, anything that falls into that category, we deal with and try to make it a little bit easier for people to navigate the industrial supply waters. So that's cool. And now over the last 2 years, we really got some solid customer and potential customer feedback around, the struggles of supply chain and COVID and all that stuff. We don't need to get into that necessarily. Not that anyone wants to get into that again, but that was, they came to us and said, hey, we'd like a product that is simple and easy, that allows us to find products and see what their price is. So price and availability was the main theme that we took out of that. So we built a mobile app. I just happen to be wearing the beautiful T-shirt here today that it's inSuppli, but cheesy product placement, I know, but I couldn't help myself.
You're a true marketer, Mike. I love it. You're a true marketer.
So inSuppli really is the three simple terms that we came up with were search, find, buy. So you search the part number on the mobile app. It shows you local distribution that has the product. So that's the key. It's local distribution. Really shows you where the product is, and then you can go directly from the mobile app to the product page through the distributor that you choose, and then you can make the purchase. It's really that simple. And we're finding that local distributors love it because it actually acts as a marketing tool for them. And it directs people back to the local options they may or may not even know that are around their area. So, geez, I could talk all day about this. I'm sorry.
No, that's, what's great about that is with the supply chain problems, being able to find a local resource is so huge, right? Like find someone locally, and with freight costs going up and all of that, that's amazing. And having worked in house for an industrial manufacturer, like I just feel like this solution is such a great option for folks to be able to get access to this information and make those purchasing decisions so much more quickly, effectively, and to realize those cost savings. Because I can't tell you how much like our sales reps at this company would spend talking to people who are from procurement, who are trying to gather pricing for products. And
Yep.
it's traditionally such in this space, very, very, tedious, and a lot of menial work that's involved in it. So I just love how you're, changing that whole, how you buy and how you find information. I think this mobile app seems like it's going to be such a great, great benefit to companies.
Jeez, what an
Yeah.
endorsement. You're going to send me a copy of this, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I
Well, hopefully I can, use that. That was
Yeah,
a
but
great
even
pitch
like
line.
there's benefits to both sides. There's benefits to the company selling the products, right? Because then they're getting their products out there in a much more, get awareness there and have another platform where they can, be able to have that data, and then for the customers too to be able to get access to it. So that's exciting.
Well, it's very exciting. And you being a marketing guru, you know
Mhm.
that it's really difficult for the small distributors to gain visibility in a Google search.
Yes.
So, spending money on SEO and search engine
Mhm.
optimization and that marketing activity, it's really hard, number one, to see the benefit of that, but then
Yeah.
also to even be placed in the top 10 or on the first page of a Google search for any of the products that they carry. It's really hard. And
Oh
it costs a
yeah,
lot of money.
it
So
does.
this we almost, we're finding that it's a great marketing tool for those small distributors because we don't do any of that ranking system. It's
Yep.
not a pay to play platform.
Nice.
Say that three times fast. pay
Pay to play,
to
pay to
play
play, pay to play. I did it.
Pay to play platform though. The platform that's the
Pay
tough
to
part.
play platform. You're right. That is a tongue twister.
So we're not that, and we show if they have it in stock, great. We show that by price, and then then the end user can make the decisions based off that. So it's we're very excited, crossing our fingers, and we do. We're just super excited about how it's panning out, and we're excited to bring it to market.
Very cool. Well, as a marketer, I heard you say earlier that you're beta testing it out on, I think, 80 people right now, which is incredible. I love that you're gathering data from your customers and getting that so you're doing it right, man. You're doing it right. So that's awesome. Well, I would love to know, Mike, did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Was this like always a dream for you from the time you were a child? Like you just wanted to start a business, or did you kind of just like fall into it over time and just thought, hey, I could try this out. I've got something, because building a SaaS product that's a big undertaking. That's, you know,
Yeah.
so what,
Um,
what led you here? What, is this something you always wanted to do, or did it just kind of like happen organically for you?
well, it's kind of interesting looking back on things and just reflecting a little bit. Like at the end of last year, just did a little bit of reflection about how things have been going and what's happening in
Yeah.
life, in general.
Mhm.
And you know, and then just ironically, this or coincidentally, I guess this morning I was talking to a very good friend of mine, and he said to me, "You've always had ideas about stuff, but I like you can take an idea. Everybody's got ideas, but you can take an idea, and the critical part is being able to execute on those ideas. That's just
Yes. So
that
true.
portion of working, doing anything. Okay, I've got an idea. How can I make that happen? That goes for anything, but starting a business, it's a kind of a risk reward type of thing. And are you willing to take that risk? And I never thought I was, willing to do that. I grew up in a family with uh, parents that had 9 to 5 jobs, worked for
Mhm.
companies, were very successful doing that. So that was kind of the model that I was
Yep.
kind of destined to go down. And it worked for them. So why wouldn't it work for me? But then, there was a day where the switch flipped.
Ooh, what happened on that day? What happened on that day? The switch flipped.
Well, I mean, it's nothing super dramatic or exciting. Like I kind of built it up to be. It was just a matter of, I had this idea. The timing was kind of right to try to execute on it,
Mhm.
and that's what kind of led me to start it. So,
You just knew it was like magic in a bottle, huh? Or lightning in a
well,
bottle. Is that the phrase?
I don't know about lightning at the beginning. It was more like a It was more like a, I don't know, a slow like drip or something like that. It wasn't.
Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't. Well, actually, I mean, full disclosure, it was like other life circumstances that just said, okay, the timing is perfect for this. There were some good things that happened, some bad things that happened in life and personally, and
Yeah.
things like that, where it was just like, if I'm ever gonna try to do something like this, it's got to be now. And if I don't, it's gonna eat at me for the rest of my life. So that was just kind of the all right. There's a guy, Reid Hoffman, who was the founder of LinkedIn,
Yeah.
who says, and I'm probably going to butcher this quote, but it's something to the effect of, you jump off a cliff with no plane and you have to build a plane before you hit the ground. And that's kind of what it feels like and has felt like. And luckily, we haven't hit the ground yet.
Isn't it? It's such an exciting journey. I'm on it with you, and I just love every day. It's such a fun roller coaster.
Well,
That's awesome.
yeah, I mean, full well. I mean,
Mhm.
starting your thing and, this podcast, and it's
Yes.
scary, intimidating, but
You got to do
it's,
it scared. You got to do it scared.
yeah, it's so exhilarating. It's so
And there's
exhilarating.
so much pivoting. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like starting a SaaS business, huge undertaking, so much work that needs to be done. I am sure that along the way, there's been hiccups, there's been mishaps, there's been, oops, why did we do it that way? There's been regrets, if you will, right? And I just listened to this fabulous podcast from Greg McKeown. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He wrote the book Essentialism and a new book called Effortless. So he's a really great, I just love his stuff. It's wonderful. But he was talking on his podcast about how so much of the time people talk about live with no regrets, and you don't want to do anything that you regret. But he kind of repositioned that in a way that's was like, no, let's not look at our regrets as these bad things that happen, but rather regrets are data. This is data
Hmm.
that you can actually stop, assess, and say, okay, how am I going to take this experience that didn't go right, or I made this mistake, and how can I use that to design a better future for my life, And so I just really love that. I think it's just such a really positive, productive way to look at entrepreneurship too, because so much of entrepreneurship is taking these leaps of faith and failing forward and getting your knee and getting back up again. I would love to know what you think about that and maybe share one of the experiences you've had as you've grown your business where you really just like, had it was a terrible business blunder. Like, walk me through what that was like and what you did. And, I'm
Well,
sure you've had regrets, right?
I mean, thinking back, there's pretty much zero regrets and zero failures that have happened over 5 years. Actually, that is so far from the truth.
I
Uh,
was gonna
that's
say,
such a
drop
joke.
the mic. You'd be the
Uh,
first person I ever talked to who said that. Oh my
no,
gosh.
I mean, how much time do we have? Seriously.
Right? Oh
Like,
man.
I have two regrets and one failure from this morning. So if that gives you a clue.
Oh, it's so true.
No, but
Mm.
it's there's so many things. But like you said, I mean, turning what one thing that I was kind of keep in the back of my mind is that you know life is pretty darn good, and I have a lot to be thankful for. And turning regrets or things like that, they're pretty minor, in the grand scheme of things, especially with business. So, I look at it like I would have a big regret if I hadn't taken the steps to try to kind of start something.
Yes.
But the failures, like you say, and there's so many things out there now that talk about, it's good to fail and fail fast and fail quick, and then turn that into a learning experience and into a positive thing. And it's not really how you. It's kind of how you fail. There's, do you learn from it? Do you become better from it? And I like to think that the failing portion of it is a there's a couple of events that have happened in past lives for me that
Mhm.
were failures that were like the most impactful things to say, holy cow, I don't
Mhm.
ever want to make that mistake again, and here's how
Yeah.
I'm going to correct that. And it's those are fantastic learning experiences, and if you can turn those into a positive somehow, whether it be a win, or whether it be just a way that you do things differently, or the way that you know approach a relationship or deal with somebody, or there's so many examples of failures that it's just in my life
Yeah.
that small failures that have really impacted everything. So it's kind of a how you react to those, how do you respond to them, and how do you deal with them.
Yeah. The first thing you said that I just loved is you said, my life is good. And I
Yeah,
think that mindset of like my dear business partner, Kurt Anderson, who
yeah,
so fabulous.
yeah.
One of the things he loves to say is, how can I live with radical gratitude? And I just
Wow.
love that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think like your mindset, just like the first thing you said was life is good. And I think if you approach any situation, your regrets, your day to day, just with that radical gratitude of like, I've got a great life, and it really does put things in perspective, so that when you do have those mishaps, you realize, like, in the grand scheme of things, life is good. I have been blessed and have so much wonderful things that,
That's true.
I can
Yeah.
get through this, and it's all going to be fine. It's not doomsday.
Well, I mean, radical gratitude, that totally fits Kurt. I mean,
Doesn't it?
he's he's much more of an extrovert, it seems like, than I am, and I don't. I mean, holy cow! I don't know if I can keep up with the radical portion of it, but I'm more of a laid back gratitude kind of guy.
Oh, any way you slice and dice it, gratitude, whether it's
Yeah.
radical or laid
Yes.
back,
Yeah.
however you want to own it. I
Yeah.
just love that you're living that. And I remember when you were on the last show, I remember before you started your business, you told us you had gone through a really big career change, right? Like a big, significant, like kind of like moment where you're like, oh, I gotta do something. And it's those moments, right, that really define us, frankly. You
Yeah.
could have taken that situation and really like turned it into a negative, but you didn't. You like used it as fuel to, have the confidence to jump into this next thing.
That's
And I just think that's
it's
inspiring.
it's still building. We're not quite there yet, but it's still
Yeah.
building. Yeah, things are good. So
It's always building. My goodness. I can't tell you
yeah,
how many times I've had to pivot in my business. And I've only been in business for, it's coming up on 3 years in February. And it's like, seems like every year I'm like, okay, we got to revamp. We got to, figure out the next step. And it's always listening to the market, listening to customers, trying to
yep.
understand what they need, and just constantly being on the pulse in that way.
Well, I
So,
don't know about you, but one of the things that I enjoy most about, again, back to kind of the reflection on what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years, is I just love learning new stuff. And
yeah.
part of that learning experience is, failing or taking a misstep here, doing that, and then like realizing that, okay, I made a mistake, I corrected it, and then being grateful that you're able to do that. Like it's almost like a pride thing too. But yeah, definitely, I think, as like you just mentioned, over the last 3 years, you've kind of, there was a term in an old business that I used to work in called check and adjust, and or they
I
used to
love
say
that.
check and
Yeah.
adjust. So you review exactly what you did, and
Uh-huh.
then, okay, how can I be better? So you check, you adjust, and that was a thing that I took away from from that. But it
I
is
love it. It's
It
like the after
is.
action review that the Navy SEALs use. Kind of similar
Oh,
idea.
geez.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't claim to know anything about that, but Navy SEAL training. Uh, but but it's yeah, it's just something like the check and adjust. So understanding, but then the learning process of doing that is something that is uh, another thing is as far as again reflection. I don't know. It's kind of stuck in my mind, this whole reflection thing over the last year,
Yeah.
but understanding that uh, the the process. I think I've learned so much more in the last 4 or 5 years than I did in the previous 20, as far as business relationships, networking, marketing, all the different aspects of business that you know. It's been a fun experience to do all that stuff, and that's another thing to be grateful for is being able to be able to have the ability to be able to go and learn those types of things. But I think that's one of the biggest things that I've found is that learning from just new things or past mistakes, you can always there's always good takeaways from that.
I love that. What is you like what do you like learning right now, and what is your process for learning? It sounds like I heard that you like to do a lot of reflection, which I think some people don't think about when they think about learning, right? You just think learning is like you're acting, well, reflection is action, I guess, when you really think about it. But
Yeah,
like reading or talking to other people, but that reflection part of it, I think is so huge. So like what's changed in the last 4 years for you in terms of like how you learn and how you go about it that was different than before? Is it just you're exposed to a lot more experiences than you were before? Or like tell me a little bit more about that.
yeah. That's a great question. I would say the first thing that popped into my head when you asked that or talked about that was learning from other people.
Yep.
I think we connected probably on LinkedIn, first of all.
Mhm. Yep. I love
Um,
LinkedIn. It's the best.
it,
Love it.
it's great. And, for me, I try to be a sponge, talking with
Mhm.
people
Yes.
and learning. There's so many smarter people than me.
Isn't it
I
so
mean,
true? I mean,
like
you are incredibly
everybody.
smart, Mike, but like it's
Like
amazing because
everything.
people are all smart in different ways, you know? Yes.
And everybody has different thoughts about different things and different perspectives and that's super intriguing to me. And then not only like learning from other people and their perspectives, but then finding, you might be thinking about something in this way, and
Mhm.
you talk to somebody who has great knowledge about that, but then they trigger your mind to think about something maybe a little bit different. Then you meet somebody that is an expert in that, and it's like, wow, these people are so intelligent and have such great ideas and opinions about things. It's really just like, how can I gather up all that stuff? And my head physically is not big enough to hold all that stuff. So, but that's one. I mean, as far as learning,
Yeah.
that that's probably the coolest thing that has happened, in creating a network of people and you know, building trust with them so that they can, or they're willing to actually give their expertise and knowledge and opinions and things about whatever the topic may be. And that's a cool portion of learning, but a very cool portion of learning. But as far as specifically like learning a particular task, I'm so intrigued by how technology is
Mm.
at like in manufacturing and industrial supplies specifically, not to turn it back to a product type thing, but it's so interesting to me how in the last 4 or 5 years, how manufacturing is slowly trying to catch up with, I think, the rest of maybe
Yes.
other industries. And when I say technology, I don't mean like the machines, the CNC machines that people are working on. That's always been, leading edge technology, animation, robotics, and automation, and not
Mm.
animation, automation and robotics, and those things are very cool. But there's other portions of technology that are catching up to the other industries now. And it's just a very cool time to learn how impactful that technology can be.
I love that so much. And you're right. I mean, so manufacturing is ripe for disruption.
Mhm.
Just thinking about like conversations, like this conversation we're having right now and how we learn from other people. Like, I can't tell you how many times like I've been like noodling on an idea about something and I'm like thinking about it by myself and reflecting on it of something maybe I want to try in my business or how I might want to tweak this. And I bring it to someone, a colleague, business associate, team member, and talk about it with them. And it's amazing to me how that idea can turn into something even greater when you actually like talk to someone else about it, and then you can just kind of riff off and build off of it with someone else. You get their perspective, and now this idea that you had turns into something like 10 times better because you have the input of someone else, that can really add to it and create that something new, that's something magic. And it reminds me a
Yes.
little bit of like in marketing right now, there's kind of like this new disruptive technology. You've probably heard about it. It's Chat GPT. It's the AI,
Oh yeah.
chatbot that's like kind of like getting all this, and rightfully so. There's a lot of magic and power in that. But one thing that kind of technology I don't think can ever replicate is the magic that happens in conversation like this, where you're creating new ideas and coming up with something new and different. And I think that's what's beautiful about being human, right? Like is there's
Yeah.
nothing that can replicate. No machine can replicate that.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm actually typing in your questions into GPT as we're talking, and I'm just reading them off the screen. I'm just kidding, but yeah, no doubt. I mean, the human factors, that thing. By the way, Chat GPT is incredible. I don't
It's
know if you've
amazing.
like the
Amazing.
yeah, but
Like
that's a
it can
whole
turn like make a meeting summary of this transcript, and like
yeah.
it's amazing. Come up with action items, and it's definitely going to give Google a run for their money for sure. I
Yeah.
think I heard the other day Microsoft's trying to acquire it, so that'll be very interesting.
Well,
Anyway.
it's crazy. I actually this morning I was just checking out some things on it, and I happened to find a guy actually gave it the ideas and the parameters for building an actual website, like coding out a website, and it wrote out the entire code to build this website, and I see him copy and paste it, and there it is. So it
That is
was,
amazing.
yeah, it's pretty amazing, and that
Yeah.
like what you just mentioned, all those that other capability of, but the other crazy thing, and I'm bouncing around here a little bit, but the
No.
other crazy thing about it was it wrote out the steps and the code for it, but then he would write, I want to change something in the code
Uh-huh.
to make it this way. And it remembered what the original code was that it had just written, modified it to meet that expectation. So it's like thinking about it.
It's crazy. You had to kind of
It's
wonder, is
crazy.
it going to be sentient at
Oh
some
boy.
point? Like, is this,
Yeah.
is it going to start to cry at one moment? Like, you're feeding me too much information. I can't handle it. Information overload, Oh my gosh.
Well,
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
back to ideas and things, generating ideas and that. If it starts to be like my friends in chat in text chats,
Yeah.
it'll start saying, "You're an idiot. Quit asking stupid questions." At some point, then we'll know
I
it's
will wait for
really
that day.
real.
That'll be real.
That
That'll be when we know that really the robots are going to be taking over the world, and there's no chance. There's no hope for us. Oh man, this is so fun. So okay, let's shift gears. We have just a few minutes left. I want to shift gears a little bit on marketing.
Sure.
I love to learn a little bit more about like how have you marketed your business? Starting a business, you always have to think about how you're going to grow. How have
Yeah.
you marketed your business, and what's worked and what hasn't worked?
Oh boy, here we go back to failures.
Yeah.
There's been and positive things. So
Yeah.
I'll start with kind of the negative, not negative, just
Learning data.
learning.
Yeah.
Yes. originally, one of the biggest takeaways that I have or had with manufacturing power specifically was maybe trying to market it too early
Interesting.
before there was in software products and entrepreneur SaaS products. It could be, I guess, for anything, but you ultimately want to find market fit, and
Yes.
doing that, it takes a certain level of marketing. But I found that we did stuff a little bit too early.
What did you do too early?
So yeah, so the stuff portion of that is honestly, it was like email campaigns and
Mm.
making video clips and starting a YouTube channel, and uh, other marketing was by making expensive collateral. So
Mm.
stuff
Mhm.
like handouts and stickers and stuff that, we were just a little bit too soon with that, I felt.
So
And
you needed to learn more from the market and from like kind of like your customers that you already had.
yeah, for
The
sure.
right, correct,
It's for
before
sure.
you went down that path. So you were trying to grow too quickly, it sounds like, before you really had dialed in the product market fit. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Or the,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
But then on a positive, so learn from that completely.
Yeah.
And that was things that we're applying now to inSuppli as the mobile app, as far as kind of
Mhm.
takeaways from that. But positives going through that process was also learning tactical marketing approaches. I'm no marketer, no expert like you are, but we use a CRM, HubSpot. I think you're familiar with
Love it. I'm
HubSpot.
a HubSpot partner. They're the
So
best. Yep.
yeah, so we use
Mhm.
HubSpot, but actually the tactical stuff of learning how to use whatever version of HubSpot or whatever
Mhm.
CRM that anybody uses, to get familiar with it, to be comfortable with it for the next time, was back to learning. It's a great learning experience to not only have that capability, but to be able to rely on it and make it and have it be consistent. Makes things a lot easier. So it's like learning a skill to be prepared for the next time.
I love it. And a CRM is such a man, there's so much adoption and work that goes into understanding how to use it and fully utilize, especially something like HubSpot. So
Yeah,
that's huge.
yeah.
Now that you've learned it through those kind of growing pains and you understand the platform and all that it's capable of, it just allows you to just really soar when the time is right.
Oh, I'm not saying that I understand the entire platform. I mean,
I love your humility, Mike. It's
well,
refreshing.
we go by. Oh, what was I thinking about the other day? We go by the it's the KISS method, but keep it simple.
Oh yeah,
Keep it,
keep it simple, stupid. Keep it
yeah.
yeah, keep it simple, stupid. Right?
But
Yeah.
the stupid part is always bothered me, because it's like if you say that to somebody, in today's day and
Yes.
age, it could be a little offensive. Like,
Yeah, you're
so,
right. Fair point.
so I think, and not that I'm a big softy like that or anything, but there's, there's, there's a, oh, what was I saying? It was, keep it simple, son of a gun. And it was
Oh, I
like
like it.
kind of the same deal. Anyway, that was just a random thing, but yeah, really, the keep it simple method for us is like there's so much capability with HubSpot or and most all other CRMs that HubSpot doesn't. And I keep bringing up HubSpot only because I use it. We use it personally. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of capability. But for us as a small team, if we can just do things consistently that it helps us do, and do that consistently and then learn more of the capability so it helps us down the road as we scale, those are things that are important. But I think, like, for us, the biggest thing was just diving into it, learn a couple of things that can really help us to get
Mhm.
us to a certain point, and then, like I mentioned, as we scale, that capability is really going to come into play. I can, see it. But again, just kind of starting out in
Yeah,
it
it's
is
like
important.
Taking it in chunks, taking it in phases. Don't eat the elephant all at once. And the consistency part is so huge in marketing too. And I love that it sounds like what you learned really, and what I think is so key that a lot of people miss is so many people want to dive straight into the tactics of marketing their business. They want to go straight to the email marketing, let's start doing social media. But you have to like start from that really deep understanding of your customer. And it sounds like that's kind of what you learned through that process initially was we can't run before we walk. We need to spend time with the customer and make sure we have like a deep understanding of the product market fit first.
Yeah.
And then once we understand that, then we can really dive into those tactics. And I think that's really key to getting real traction. So
Well,
that's awesome.
just on that note, I mean, I had 20 years experience going into starting manufacturing power, and I thought I knew
Mm-hmm.
what the market fit was going to be, and I made a bunch of assumptions that just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And turns out, if I would have just taken some extra time to focus more on the customer needs than what I thought I knew,
Yeah.
things probably could have turned out a little bit different. Meaning, it would have sped up the process, which entrepreneur time, money, all that stuff comes into play too. So
Yes. Well, Mike, this has been such a wonderful conversation. So fun to talk to you. I love what you're doing. I love what you're building. I love hearing all about it, and learning from you is so marvelous. I have just one final question for you. And this is kind of more of a personal question, I guess, just so we can get
uh-oh.
know a little bit more. Like, if you could choose like perfect day, what would your day look like? What would you be doing if you could like architect that? Who would you be doing? What would you be doing? Who would you be doing it with? What's your perfect day?
Getting 10 orders for inSuppli.
I love it.
Or more, or more. No,
Love
uh,
it.
yeah, no, that would be a very good day. That would be a portion of the day. How about that?
Yeah, and then you celebrate, right? You'd
Yeah,
go,
for sure.
how would you? Okay, let's do say this. How would you celebrate that win? What would that celebration look like?
Okay, I'm gonna add it all together if that's okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
the perfect day would be with friends and family on the Gulf Coast of Florida, somewhere
Ooh, nice.
I have my laptop early in the morning, on the beach,
Yep,
getting 10 orders, and then
yep.
closing the laptop and playing on the beach, and maybe
Sounds amazing.
having a
Yeah,
cocktail or something on the beach with friends and family. That would be ideal.
love it. Very cool. Okay, I have one more question.
Sure.
What's your one word of advice for any new entrepreneur out there who's just getting started? What would you advise them? What would be the one
One
thing you would
word?
say? Yeah, or it doesn't have to be a word. It could be a sentence, but like, what would be your advice for anybody new starting out on their entrepreneurial journey?
Oh, geez. I mean, we covered quite a few things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Um, wow. Would it be fail fast? Would it be to have gratitude? Would it be to um, make
All of
sure to
those.
celebrate victories, small victories? I would say this. Maybe persistence and consistency would be something that I would like.
Yes.
If you're consistent in how you do things, people notice that and respect that. If you're doing the right things, of course. And then if you're persistent on your approach to executing on your idea,
Yeah.
um, that's that's pretty critical. And then
Very good.
networking, we could go into a million things, but networking has
Yeah.
been so huge. Like for a couple things, we talked about product market fit.
Hmm.
These people that are currently testing, or these 80 people that are testing the mobile app, they're experts in the market that we're trying to get into, or that we are getting into. And I would not have known these people at all without creating a network,
Yep.
specifically on LinkedIn. And, that's super valuable. Like, if just from a company and a product standpoint, if you can have a good market that gives you solid feedback, advice, and can give you some of their time, that's huge. So I know that wasn't one thing, but sorry.
Maybe it's just not one thing. Yeah, that's okay. Mike, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Nicole,
Where can people
yeah.
reach you if they want to get a hold of you? Where can they find you?
LinkedIn, Mike Franz. My email, mike@manufacturingpower.com. Those are probably the best two ways to reach me. And I love talking with people.
Yes.
So it's great. And Nicole, I can't thank you enough. I mean, the pleasure's been all mine. I know this is one of your first few shows, so it's an honor for me to be on it.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to have you. You're doing such great work, and I just love it. It's awesome.
So are you. So it's It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on the show, Mike. I wish you every success as you launch this new app. It's super exciting. I'll be cheering you on if there's anything that you need. And I'd love to be a beta tester if you need it. Just count me in.
Deal.
I'm here for it. So, and I hope everything goes well with the launch. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much. And radical gratitude, right? Let's end with radical gratitude.
Radical
Life
gratitude.
Is good. I loved that. Life is good.
Thank you again, Nicole. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Take care.
Tales of Misadventure is produced, edited, and moderated by Julie Basello with Basello Media. Music by Marcus Way. Special thanks to our amazing guests and the entire DMG Digital team. Visit us at dmgdigital.io to get access to all our podcast interviews and other helpful resources. And if you'd like to get updates on the latest and greatest, please sign up for our email newsletter. We'll see you next time for another episode of Tales of Misadventure. Until then, keep falling forward.